Welcome to the Art of Stoicism. Today, we're not just discussing ideas, we're exploring a powerful process of transformation. Have you ever felt weighed down by the noise of daily life, by unnecessary goals, toxic relationships, or the constant need to prove yourself? You're not alone. Even thousands of years ago, the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius struggled with these same burdens. And, through Stoic principles, he discovered a way to rise above them in this video. Inspired by Aurelius' timeless wisdom, we'll uncover 11 things you should quietly eliminate from your life to cultivate inner peace, resilience, and clarity. These aren't just theoretical concepts, they're practical steps that will help you strip away what no longer serves you, leaving space for growth, strength, and purpose. If you're ready to stop explaining yourself to people who drain you, let go of goals that no longer align with your true self, and detach from the need for constant validation, then stay with us. Together, we'll unlock the tools to reshape your inner world and find lasting peace. Let's begin this journey toward personal freedom and transformation. Starting right now. 2. Context and background. Stoicism is a profound philosophy that emerged around 300 BCE, offering timeless wisdom for managing life's uncertainties. Its core teaching is to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. In a world full of distractions and challenges, Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus advocated for resilience, emotional mastery, and inner wisdom as tools to live a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the most well-known Stoics, famously said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." This highlights the Stoic belief that our inner world, particularly our mindset and thoughts, is where we should concentrate our efforts, rather than becoming entangled in external situations that we cannot influence. Stoicism teaches us to turn inward and focus on how we respond. By mastering our emotions and reactions, we gain the ability to maintain peace and purpose, even amidst life's inevitable difficulties. Seneca and Epictetus reinforced similar principles. Epictetus, a former slave who became a prominent Stoic teacher, emphasized that true freedom comes from focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, rather than external circumstances. Seneca, a statesman and philosopher, encouraged the practice of self-reflection and emotional discipline as paths to a fulfilled life. Together, these teachings form the heart of Stoicism. By taking control of our internal world, we can live with resilience, balance, and wisdom, regardless of the external challenges we face. This powerful philosophy remains incredibly relevant today, offering tools for emotional stability and purposeful living. Point 3. Practical application. Let's dive into the 11 things you should quietly eliminate from your life for greater peace and clarity. 1. Explaining yourself to those who hurt you. One of the key lessons from Stoicism is learning to let go of unnecessary emotional burdens, including the need to explain yourself to those who've hurt you. When someone breaks your trust, it's natural to want closure, demand explanations, or seek some form of emotional justice. However, Stoicism teaches that this approach can trap us in a cycle of emotional turmoil. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This simple yet powerful statement reminds us that our energy is better spent on self-improvement and personal growth, rather than seeking validation or explanations from those who wrong us. Explaining yourself to someone who has already demonstrated disrespect or betrayal doesn't usually lead to resolution. It often prolongs the pain and keeps you emotionally attached to the situation. Instead, Stoicism encourages you to focus on what you can control, your reaction and your future. This means choosing to move forward with grace, rather than trying to change the opinions or actions of others. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, reminds us that, to be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. By letting go of the need to explain yourself or justify your actions to someone who hurt you, you are reclaiming your emotional freedom and peace of mind in practice. This might mean simply walking away from a toxic relationship without providing a detailed explanation. It's not about cutting people off with bitterness, rather. It's about recognizing that not everyone deserves a deep explanation or a prolonged farewell. In this way, you preserve your mental clarity and allow yourself to move forward, focusing on the positive relationships and goals that truly matter. Letting go of this need for closure, as difficult as it may seem, is a profound step toward cultivating inner peace and emotional resilience. Point 2. Unnecessary goals. Letting go of unnecessary goals is a crucial step in living a life aligned with your true purpose. In today's fast-paced, achievement-driven world, it's easy to set goals that, over time, may no longer resonate with who you are or where you're headed. As we grow and evolve, our priorities and values shift. However, we often cling to outdated goals out of a sense of obligation, fear of failure, or concern about how others will perceive us. Stoic philosophy reminds us that it's perfectly okay to change course without feeling the need to announce it to the world. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it; if it is not true, do not say it." This encourages us to act in ways that align with our inner truth, rather than sticking to something that no longer serves our personal growth. Letting go of unnecessary goals allows you to refocus your energy on what truly matters and what brings genuine fulfillment. This doesn't mean abandoning challenges at the first sign of difficulty, but rather evaluating whether the goals you've set are still in alignment with your current values and aspirations. For example, a career ambition you had years ago might no longer feel right, or a personal project may no longer inspire you. Continuing to pursue these goals can drain your energy and distract you from the ones that are truly meaningful. There's no need to justify this decision to others. You don't have to publicly declare every change in your life path. Instead, quietly realign yourself with your true purpose. Seneca also pointed out that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. By focusing on the goals that matter most, you're making the most of your limited time and resources, living a life that is deeply intentional and fulfilling. Point 3. Oversharing. The end of relationships. When a relationship comes to an end, it's natural to feel a range of emotions: grief, frustration, or even relief. However, one of the most important things to remember during this time is the value of privacy. Oversharing the intimate details of a relationship's breakdown, whether it's a romantic or a close friendship, can not only complicate your own healing process but also fuel unnecessary gossip and speculation. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of inner resilience and self-control, especially when emotions are high. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom encourages us to manage our reactions and to recognize that sharing personal details won't change the situation. Instead, it might magnify the emotional turmoil by making it a topic of public conversation. Sharing the reasons for a breakup or conflict in a relationship with others can also damage the dignity of both parties involved. It's easy to seek validation by telling our side of the story, but this often only leads to fueling negative feelings and prolonging the pain. Gossip, once ignited, is hard to extinguish, and it can add unnecessary drama to an already difficult situation. The Stoics valued introspection and personal growth through silence and reflection. Rather than oversharing, they would encourage you to process your emotions privately or with a trusted confidant, like a close friend or therapist, rather than making it a public issue. This approach protects both your emotional well-being and that of the other person involved, allowing both parties to heal in a more respectful and discreet manner. Ultimately, by keeping the details to yourself, you not only safeguard your emotional health but also foster an atmosphere of respect. The end of a relationship is a time for reflection, growth, and the chance to learn about yourself. Protecting this process from external opinions or gossip allows you to move forward with dignity, embracing the lessons learned rather than being weighed down by the past. Point 4. Raising your voice in anger. When you raise your voice in anger, you lose control of both the situation and yourself. Stoic philosophy teaches that true strength lies in mastering your emotions, especially in the most heated moments. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, emphasized that we must be tolerant with others and strict with ourselves. This means that while we should hold ourselves to high standards of emotional control, we must also show compassion and patience toward others, even when they provoke us. Anger, by nature, is a fleeting and intense emotion. And when you yell or lash out, you are reacting impulsively rather than thoughtfully. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, warned of the dangers of anger, stating that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. This advice highlights the importance of pausing before reacting, giving yourself time to collect your thoughts and respond more constructively. In moments of frustration or anger, instead of letting your emotions dictate your behavior, the Stoic approach would be to remain calm and composed. Speaking softly and with purpose not only helps de-escalate a situation but also allows you to maintain your dignity. When you respond calmly, you set the tone for the conversation and encourage others to do the same. Yelling may momentarily feel powerful, but it diminishes your control over the situation, often leading to regret later. Choosing to speak softly doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or avoiding confrontation. Instead, it's about communicating with intention and clarity. By lowering your voice, you signal to others that you are in control of yourself and the situation. It invites more thoughtful dialogue and creates a space where problems can be resolved rationally, rather than fueled by emotion. In practice, next time you feel anger rising, take a deep breath and remind yourself that staying calm is not only a sign of strength but also a way to master your emotions. Speaking softly in a moment of frustration can turn potential conflict into a constructive conversation, allowing you to lead with wisdom and purpose. Point 5. Spreading negative opinions about others. Gossip and negative talk are all too common in our interactions, but they are destructive not only to those being discussed but also to those participating in the conversation. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on our own character and actions, rather than judging or criticizing others. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that it is not the actions of others that trouble us, but rather how we respond to them. This simple but profound truth highlights that negative opinions about others are often a reflection of our own insecurities or frustrations. Engaging in gossip is easy. It can feel like a bonding experience to share criticisms or judgments, but it's a trap. Once words are spoken, they can't be taken back, and they can damage relationships and trust. Stoicism encourages us to rise above this behavior by practicing empathy and understanding. When we speak ill of others, we're not just harming them, we're harming ourselves by allowing negativity to take root in our minds. Instead of contributing to the cycle of negativity, we can choose to break it. Epictetus, another prominent Stoic philosopher, said, "Keep silence for the most part, and speak only when you must, and then briefly." This advice emphasizes the power of restraint in speech. Instead of gossiping, Stoicism urges us to practice self-control and compassion. When faced with the temptation to criticize someone, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, What do I gain by speaking negatively about this person? More often than not, the answer is nothing. Choosing empathy over judgment is not always easy. But it is a sign of inner strength. When we put ourselves in others' shoes and consider their struggles or challenges, we cultivate kindness and understanding. This shift in perspective allows us to be the kind of person others can trust, someone who doesn't engage in gossip, but who uplifts and supports others in your daily interactions. Aim to foster positive conversations. By avoiding negative talk and gossip, you create an environment of trust and respect. The next time you're tempted to spread a negative opinion about someone, remember that empathy and understanding are far more powerful tools for building meaningful, lasting relationships. Point 6. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Constantly comparing yourself to others is one of the most common habits that steals joy, peace, and self-contentment. Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Comparison is the thief of joy," and this statement resonates deeply with Stoic philosophy. The practice of measuring your worth against someone else's achievements, possessions, or status leads to a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own path, values, and actions rather than on external factors beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, writes, "Never value anything as profitable to yourself which shall compel you to break your promise, to lose your self-respect, to hate any man, to suspect, to curse, to act the hypocrite, to desire anything which needs walls and curtains." This speaks to the core of comparison. When we measure our lives against others, we often lose sight of our true values, chasing after things that may not serve our higher purpose. Comparison distracts us from our own goals and fills our minds with unnecessary envy or jealousy. In today's world, social media amplifies this problem. We are constantly exposed to curated highlights of others' lives, and it's easy to feel like we're falling short. The Stoics would remind us that what we see is often not the full picture, and that true contentment comes from within, not from outward appearances. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. This means that our dissatisfaction comes not from someone else's success, but from how we interpret and react to it. Instead of comparing yourself to others, Stoicism encourages you to focus on your own unique journey. Each person's path is different, shaped by individual circumstances, talents, and values. Rather than measuring your progress against someone else's timeline, focus on being the best version of yourself. Reflect on how far you've come, what you've learned, and the goals that truly matter to you. By letting go of the habit of comparison, you free yourself from the constant pressure to measure up to others. This shift in perspective allows you to live more authentically, embracing your unique strengths and experiences. The next time you feel tempted to compare yourself to others, remember that your journey is your own, and that the true measure of success lies in your personal growth and self-fulfillment. Point 7. Mindless use of social media. Mindless use of social media has become a common challenge in the digital age. It's easy to fall into the habit of scrolling through endless feeds, consuming content that doesn't serve your well-being or goals. The Stoics, who emphasized self-control and mindful living, would caution against this behavior, urging us to reclaim our time and attention. Social media often distorts reality. The curated lives of others can make us feel inadequate, fostering a sense of comparison and discontent. We are bombarded with images of success, luxury, and perfection, which can create unrealistic expectations for our own lives. Stoicism teaches us that external appearances are often misleading and that true contentment comes from within, not from how others present themselves. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This wisdom reminds us that chasing after the external validation or material success we see online can lead to a cycle of constant dissatisfaction. Instead, we should cultivate inner peace and focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and reactions. Using social media mindfully means setting boundaries and being intentional about your online interactions. Ask yourself, are you using social media to learn, connect, or grow? Or are you simply passing time, absorbing content that distracts you from your own goals? Consider scheduling specific times for social media use, or taking regular breaks to focus on activities that enrich your life, such as hobbies, reading, or spending time with loved ones. When we reduce the mindless use of social media, we create space for more meaningful activities and connections. By practicing digital minimalism, we can regain control over our attention, align our actions with our values, and focus on what truly matters. The Stoics would remind us that our time is one of our most valuable resources, and how we choose to spend it defines the quality of our lives. Point 8. Pursuit of external validation. The pursuit of external validation is a common struggle, especially in a world driven by social media and constant feedback loops. We often seek approval from others, whether it's through likes, comments, or praise, to feel valued and fulfilled. However, Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from within, not from the opinions of others. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." This highlights the fact that external validation is often based on imagined pressures and the fear of judgment. When we live our lives chasing after approval, we place our happiness in the hands of others, becoming vulnerable to their opinions, which can fluctuate and be beyond our control. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to trust ourselves and cultivate inner confidence. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us, "It never ceases to amaze me, we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This quote reflects the paradox many of us face. While we naturally prioritize our own well-being, we give disproportionate importance to what others think. Breaking free from the need for external validation requires shifting our focus to what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and character. When we stop seeking approval from others and start trusting our own values, we build a foundation of self-worth that is independent of external praise. It is through this inner fulfillment that we gain resilience and peace, regardless of what the outside world might say. To practice this in daily life, start by reflecting on your motivations. Are you making decisions to please others, or because they align with your true values? Begin to trust your inner voice, and remember that self-worth is defined by your actions and integrity, not by the fleeting approval of others. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, we can lead lives guided by purpose, rather than the pursuit of validation. Point 9. Perfectionism. Perfectionism can often feel like a pursuit of excellence, but in reality, it frequently leads to stress, frustration, and dissatisfaction. The desire to be flawless in every task can become overwhelming, trapping us in a cycle of unrealistic expectations and self-criticism. Stoicism, with its focus on accepting the natural flow of life and focusing on what we can control, offers a valuable perspective on overcoming perfectionism. The Stoics remind us that the pursuit of perfection is both impossible and unnecessary. As Epictetus stated, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a figure. If you tell me that you desire a figure, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen, This quote highlights the importance of allowing things to unfold naturally. Without forcing them to meet unrealistic standards. Perfectionism often stems from the fear of failure or criticism. But Stoicism teaches us to embrace imperfection and focus on growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, encouraged the practice of focusing on progress rather than perfection, reminding us that mistakes are part of the human experience. He wrote in Meditations, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This advice reflects the Stoic mindset of action and self-improvement rather than overthinking or chasing an impossible ideal. By letting go of the need to be flawless, we open ourselves to learning and growth. Every mistake becomes a lesson, and each experience contributes to our development. Instead of striving for unattainable perfection, shift your focus to doing your best in the moment, accepting that setbacks are natural and part of the journey to overcome perfectionism. Practice self-compassion and recognize that your worth is not tied to how perfectly you perform. Celebrate progress, however small, and appreciate the process of growth rather than fixating on an idealized outcome. By embracing imperfection, we free ourselves from the burden of perfectionism and can live a more balanced, fulfilling life. Point 10. Holding on to unrealistic expectations. Holding on to unrealistic expectations can be a major source of disappointment, frustration, and dissatisfaction in life. Whether it's expecting people to behave in a certain way, believing life should unfold without any setbacks, or placing undue pressure on ourselves to meet impossible standards. Unrealistic expectations can prevent us from truly enjoying the present moment and growing as individuals. Stoicism encourages us to release these expectations and embrace the imperfections of life. Epictetus famously said, "It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." Often, our suffering comes from clinging to the belief that life should go exactly as we imagine. When things inevitably don't go as planned, we are left feeling angry, disillusioned, and stuck in a cycle of unmet expectations. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is accepting the reality of what we can and cannot control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By adjusting our expectations to align with what is realistic and within our control, we reduce our suffering and cultivate inner peace. Letting go of unrealistic expectations doesn't mean giving up on goals or aspirations. It means accepting that life is unpredictable and that we are imperfect beings navigating a complex world. By releasing the pressure to conform to an idealized version of life, we open ourselves up to growth, resilience, and a deeper appreciation of the present moment. To practice this, start by identifying areas in your life where expectations are causing stress. Ask yourself if these expectations are realistic, and if they are helping or harming your well-being. Then, consciously work on adjusting them, focusing instead on what is within your control. Accept that setbacks and challenges are a natural part of life and use them as opportunities for growth rather than reasons for frustration. This mindset shift will lead to greater contentment and freedom. Point 11. Gossiping. Gossiping may seem harmless at first, but it can have significant negative effects on relationships, trust, and your reputation. Stoic philosophy urges us to maintain integrity and choose conversations that uplift rather than tear down. Gossip not only damages the person being talked about but also reflects poorly on the character of the person spreading it. It erodes trust and can create a toxic environment where meaningful connections are replaced by suspicion and negativity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This quote serves as a reminder that instead of engaging in negative conversations about others, we should focus on being the best version of ourselves. Gossip often arises from a place of insecurity or a desire to bond with others through shared judgment. But Stoicism encourages us to rise above this by practicing empathy and self-control when we refrain from gossip. We show respect for others and foster an atmosphere of trust and positivity. Choosing to speak well of others or, at the very least, not contribute to negative discussions, builds your character and strengthens your relationships. People will trust you more and see you as someone who values integrity and kindness. One way to avoid gossip is by steering conversations in a positive direction. If a negative conversation begins, try redirecting it to focus on solutions or positive aspects of the situation. If you find yourself tempted to gossip, pause and reflect on whether what you're about to say adds value or simply spreads harm in the end. Avoiding gossip isn't just about protecting others, it's about maintaining your own dignity and fostering healthier, more constructive interactions. By choosing to speak with kindness and respect, you cultivate a reputation for integrity and create space for deeper, more meaningful relationships. Point 4. Interactive section. Now, let's pause for a moment of reflection. Think about one area in your life where you might be holding on to something that no longer serves you. Is it perfectionism? The constant need for external validation? Or perhaps you find yourself frequently comparing your progress to others? Whatever it may be, take a moment to identify that one thing and write it down. Commit to letting go of this burden over the next week. Share your reflections in the comments if you feel comfortable. We'd love to hear about your journey toward personal growth. Additionally, choose one of the 11 principles we've discussed to practice today. Whether it's embracing calm in a frustrating situation, reducing your social media use, or speaking kindly of others, small changes lead to significant transformations over time. By focusing on just one area, you give yourself the opportunity to experience personal freedom and greater inner peace. It's these mindful adjustments, made consistently, that shape our overall well-being. Remember, Stoicism teaches us that change starts from within. It's not about perfection but about progress, small, intentional steps toward a more fulfilled and resilient life. Let's embark on this journey together, one action at a time. 5. Real-life example. Let's take a closer look at the life of Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who exemplified the power of Stoic philosophy in action. As a ruler, Marcus faced overwhelming pressures. He was constantly navigating political enemies, personal losses, and the relentless demands of leading an empire. However, through it all, Marcus remained remarkably calm, resilient, and focused. How did he manage to do this? One of the key principles Marcus lived by was embracing change. Instead of resisting the constant shifts in the political landscape, he adapted, understanding that change is a natural part of life. For example, when alliances within the Roman Empire fractured or when the empire faced invasions, Marcus didn't react out of fear or anger. He accepted these challenges and approached them with a clear mind, rooted in the Stoic belief that we cannot control external events, but we can control our responses to them. This is a practice we can apply in our own lives. Whether we're dealing with sudden job changes or personal hardships. Another powerful technique Marcus employed was deliberate disengagement. Despite his immense responsibilities, he made time for reflection. His famous work, Meditations, was born from these moments of quiet introspection. Through writing, Marcus was able to clear his mind, reflect on his decisions, and gain clarity on complex issues. This practice of journaling is something we can easily adopt. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed at work or navigating personal struggles, taking a step back to reflect, perhaps through journaling, can offer clarity and emotional release. By embracing change and taking time for reflection, we, too, can face life's challenges with more intelligence and calmness. Just like Marcus Aurelius did centuries ago. These Stoic practices are timeless and relevant to modern-day struggles. Point 6. Summary and takeaways. Let's take a moment to summarize the key points from our discussion on eliminating things that no longer serve you for greater peace and personal growth. Here are the 11 things to quietly remove from your life. Explaining yourself to those who hurt you. You don't owe explanations to people who've broken your trust. Protect your peace by moving forward without seeking closure from those who don't value you. Unnecessary goals. It's okay to let go of goals that no longer align with your true purpose. Focus on what matters most without feeling the need to broadcast every decision. Oversharing. The end of relationships. Keep the private details of relationships to yourself. Oversharing only fuels gossip and slows the healing process. Raising your voice in anger. Stay calm in frustrating moments. Speaking softly and with purpose, rather than raising your voice, helps you maintain control over your emotions. Spreading negative opinions about others, gossip and judgment erode trust. Choose empathy and be the kind of person others respect and rely on. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Comparison steals joy. Focus on your unique journey. And stop measuring your worth by someone else's standards. Mindless use of social media. Social media can distort reality. Use it mindfully or take breaks to reconnect with your own life and values. Pursuit of external validation. Fulfillment comes from within. Stop living for others' approval and start trusting your own path. Perfectionism. Perfectionism creates unnecessary stress. Embrace imperfection. Focus on growth. And release the need to be flawless. Holding on to unrealistic expectations. Let go of expectations that don't serve you. Accept that life and people are imperfect. And that's okay. Gossiping. Avoid gossip, as it damages both relationships and your integrity. Focus on positive, constructive conversations instead. To begin implementing these ideas, pick one or two things to focus on today. Maybe it's setting boundaries with someone who's hurt you, or letting go of perfectionism and being kinder to yourself. Small, deliberate changes like these can lead to profound growth and peace in your life. If these Stoic principles resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the Art of Stoicism for more practical wisdom to guide you through life's challenges. Together, we can cultivate mental strength, clarity, and purpose, just like the great Stoic philosophers did. Share this video with a friend who you think could benefit from simplifying their life and letting go of things that no longer serve them. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the first thing you'll commit to eliminating from your life? Is it perfectionism, comparison, or the constant pursuit of validation? Share your thoughts. And let's discuss how these Stoic techniques can help us grow stronger and more focused. Also, don't forget to stick around until the end of this video for even more insights on applying Stoicism in your daily life. Let's build a community of learners and thinkers, all striving to live more purposeful, peaceful lives. Thank you for watching. And I can't wait to read your comments and see how these lessons resonate with you.